Salute and welcome to the channel. So in this video, I wanted to just give my thoughts and perspective on Tekken 8 in whether or not it can be saved for the much anticipated Season 3 updates. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, and I would say on this channel, I'm very authentic and real, I don't see any significant changes that will be coming to this game for Season 3. And I will tell you why. And I understand that there are some of you, perhaps many of you, that really do enjoy Tekken 8. You guys love this game. And believe me, on my channel, I do not shame or throw shade at anybody for loving what you love, regardless of what game that might be. However, speaking from an OG standpoint, considering that I have been playing this franchise for 30 years, I'm 45 years old right now. I've been playing the franchise since I've been 14. I'm a former competitive pro. I've put my time in. I've earned my respect. I was a Lei Wulong user. And so I've dealt with many broken and busted characters over the history of the franchise. However, when I look at Tekken 8, not only are you dealing with absurd character balancing, or should I say lack thereof, but you're also dealing with ridiculous gameplay mechanics that no one in the community that has played the game or the franchise for a significant period of time has asked for. Rage was just something, you get your opponent low on life, they get that little reddish aura, and they do a little additional damage on their moves, a small percentage extra. Now, if you look at Rage, it gives the losing player a nuclear missile that you, as the offensive player, you have no idea whether or not that player that has gotten his ass beat from one corner of the screen to the next, whether or not he's going to unleash this rage art or not. And for those people that have said, if you're getting hit by rage arts, you're trash, or you should have not been pressing buttons, there's 2 points I can make to that. At the very beginning of the development of Tekken 8, when the most earliest news that we have gotten was that the general theme of Tekken 8 was going to be rooted in aggression. I put this in air quotes. So it didn't surprise me too much that sidesteps and movement of Tekken, which has been a staple in the franchise, being able to move around, sidestep effectively and efficiently, was toned down because the developers wanted to prioritize offensive, aggressive gameplay. And this led me to have the theory as to why armor attacks were changed in such a way that if you were to armor through an attack, you would no longer incur permanent damage while tanking through a move. It will now just be recoverable health. And also, they combined landing an armor attack with a heat engager. So my thought, and this is just my own little, my conspiracy theory here, is that armor attacks were designed for you as the defensive player to counteract your opponent's aggression. So it's like, in order to deal with your opponent's aggression, the game did not necessarily the design of the game did not emphasize sidesteps to get out of danger, but rather utilizing the armor attack to burst through attacks. So what we've seen later on was that the community, let the developers know that this was not the direction they wanted. And then we have what is current, where armor attacks no longer incur a heat engager. When you do land a heat engager, you're not minus 17,000 on hit. You're now, -9, if I'm not mistaken. So there's certain changes that were made. But I will tell you, and I will come back to this again in the video, depending on how long you watch, These changes were made solely because of the Tekken community's rage and outcry or backlash, whatever word you want to attribute. I do not believe any of these changes would have been made were it not for the hardcore audience of the Tekken community remaining silent. Another thing we can look at is that whole Jack 8 situation with the move Bring the Noise, where he jumps up and kind of does something with his hands, and it was like a plus a trillion on block. It was a very toxic move, to say the least. But I can guarantee, again, were it not for the community speaking up and having basically a backlash moment, Jack 8 would still have this move. I am 97% sure Jack 8 would still have that move. And then the other change, you're going to see a theme in this video. The other change where at some point in time, if you were to break a grab, the defensive player would incur chip damage. So if you haven't picked up on it yet, the significant changes that has occurred in Tekken 8 over the course of its short lifespan was pretty much incurred due to community backlash. So when I see, now, actually, before I get to that, on the flip side of that, given the fact that Namco, the developers, or just rather Namco Bandai, they are making money off of Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is earning, okay? It may not be making Street Fighter 6 money. If you look at certain reports, it may not be. That's all irrelevant. What is relevant is that the Namco higher ups, the corpos, they are satisfied with not only the sales of the game, but also the direction as well. So that is very key as it pertains to what changes you could potentially see for season 3. Because, you know, there's an old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You have to understand that from a business standpoint, which is something that many gamers don't grasp, and this is not me being facetious, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or condescending, but a lot of gamers, from what I can see, especially online, many gamers do not understand business. They understand the game, like the video game, but they don't understand the game of business. From Namco's perspective, because this game is making money, there's no real reason for them, in their eyes, to really make anything significantly different moving forward for season 3. As we know, there is a silly character, kind of like an anime style character, an RPG, a role-playing game character by the name of Mary Sue. I know how you pronounce the name. I just don't feel like giving the character that respect. I refer to the character as Mary Sue. I know it's Miarizo. I don't give a shit. It's Mary Sue as far as I'm concerned. So this character is a character that should have been passed down within the Namco company to the Tales of franchise. The Tales of franchise, in case you don't know or are unaware, is an RPG division within Namco Bandai that they actually make some pretty good games over the years. Tales of Legendia, Tales of Symphonia, the most recent, I believe, Tales of Arise, if I'm not mistaken. They should have passed that Mary Sue character to that division within Namco. But instead, we're going to get this RPG character in December. I personally don't care. I already can surmise what we can expect from that nonsensical character. But if you are looking forward to that character, I'm happy for you. But this just kind of goes in line with the direction that the developers have been taking this game into, which is prioritizing aggression. Again, I use air quotes. Asinine, whimsical anime style characters, which is going to get worse in the coming seasons of 3, 4, 5, and 6, because I do believe this game will go up to 5 or 6 seasons. I will circle back to that in a little bit, but I just, getting back to the point of the game making money, if the game was struggling financially, if the game was not as a financial success as it currently is, then I would have much more confidence that there would be some significant changes, a course correction, if you will, that Tekken 8 would undergo. But because they are making money and the people that are at the very top are satisfied with things, they are satisfied with where things are currently, this just kind of leads me to believe very strongly that if you watching this video are hoping for significant nerfs, and the key word here is significant, I want you to really take that word in, because you can have a patch. You can have a patch where they just kind of give characters a slap on the wrist, a little don't do it again. It's not really much of a punish, but it will be a scenario of, well, you can't say we didn't nerf the character, even though when you would really look at the nerf under a magnifying glass, you would see it's just more like a slap on the wrist. We've already seen this before at the beginning of season 2, where they gave King and Yoshimitsu basically a slap on the wrist, and a few other characters as well. So when I look at the entirety of Tekken 8 so far, as I've basically broken down that the game is making money, it's earning. When I also look at what they have patched and updated so far, it just kind of does not give me the confidence to say that season 3 is going to be a significant change in the direction that the vast majority of the community would like to see it go. I just don't see it. I just don't. When I look at characters like Lydia, who is very much overpowered, kind of a bullshit character, if you ask me. When you look at characters like Anna, who definitely needs a sledgehammer to the face when it comes to nerfs. When you look at certain aspects of King, while not overtly broken, but the character is very, very strong. When you look at characters like Brian Fury, there's so many characters in this game that I believe many people throughout the Tekken community take issue with. We may not agree on which characters should be nerfed and to what degree, but I'm willing to wager the vast majority of the community has an issue with a character or two. So on that front, we pretty much all agree that the character balancing, irregardless of which character it is or what character we can agree on, the character balancing of Tekken 8 is egregious, it's absurd, it's a joke, it's bullshit. We can all agree to this. However, for me, I take it one step further and I speak to the gameplay mechanics of heat and rage. As far as I'm concerned, for me, and even though I know this is not going to happen, if heat and rage as it currently is in Tekken 8 were to be absolutely removed, like deactivated, and I've spoken about this a couple of times in prior videos where I came up with a concept of Tekken Heat and Tekken Cold, basically giving the community two different versions of Tekken and how you can play, and I believe that would actually lend itself very well to the development of Tekken 9, but more on that in a moment. If heat and rage as it currently is, if that were to be completely eviscerated, taken out of the game, I personally, just speaking for myself, if you were to keep the cast of characters as they currently are, I would be more inclined to better handle them. I wouldn't bitch and complain as much. The source of my personal rage and malcontent and frustration with Tekken 8 really lies with heat and rage. Because over the course of my Tekken career, I've dealt with Tekken 4 Nina, Tekken 4 Jin, 5.0 Brian, 5.0 Steve, Ganryu. I've dealt with bullshit characters over the course of my Tekken life. And many of those characters are actually worse than Tekken 8 characters, you know, if you can believe that. But when you layer in the heat and rage mechanic, it makes those Tekken 8 characters that are bullshit even more insufferable and granting them properties that they should never have. So I would love to see the outright removal of heat and rage as it pertains to Tekken 8. However, to be fair, I would be open, and it is very possible from a developer's standpoint, to just simply offer a separate mode to give players the option of if you want to play with these mechanics turned on or you want to play with these mechanics turned off. I believe that is very possible, but do I believe it's going to happen? I highly doubt it, but I would welcome it. Now, as to my belief, my strong belief that Season 3 will not save Tekken 8 in the way many of you are hoping it would, I am 100% open to being wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love for people to come back to this video however many months later after the Season 3 update and flame me in the comments section of this video saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. I was wrong. Season 3 is a return back to form. Tekken 8 is great. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I would fucking love for that to happen. And I'm open for it. But with everything I've said in this video so far, when it comes to just how I've seen them patch the kind of like the method and the direction that they have taken when it came to, or not even the direction and more of like their approach. That's the better word. Their approach to patching in this game, and the fact that the developers, or just more specifically the company, the Namco Bandai executives, are pleased with the current direction and they are pleased with the current sales financially of this game. I feel there is a 95% chance, and I know that's a high number, there's a 95% chance that I believe that nothing significant will happen with this game as it pertains to Season 3. But, you know, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I just wanted to kind of just sit down in front of this brick wall with my new little red Brooklyn hat on and just take the microphone from my room, because, you know, a lot of my live streams and my other videos, I'm basically in my room. I wanted to come out here, sit down in front of you guys, for any of you that actually listen, to just kind of give my perspective on this, because it is significant. Because Tekken 8, you know, it's a game that many of us love. Well, I would say me specifically, the Tekken franchise. I'll correct myself. The Tekken franchise is something that I love. I've played it basically all my life, and to see it in the current state that it's in, I'm just not a fan, and it frustrates me, because I look at it as like a party game. I literally look at it like a party game, with some of the virtual murder that you can get away with some of these characters is absolutely insane. Like when you look at a character like Lydia, who when she is in heat, the round is essentially over. You as the defensive player, the onus is basically on you as the defensive player to make some of the most insane reads you will ever make in any fighting game. The type of defensive choices you have to make at a drop of a dime, a fraction of a second, and it's absolutely insane. And it's not just Lydia. You know, I'm not going to pick on Lydia, even though I think she is absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, we look at many other characters. You know, I've covered a few of them already. You know, Anna, Hwoarang, Brian. You know, there's so many characters in this game that need to be addressed. I just don't, I'm just not confident that the developers are going to prioritize giving significant nerfs to the characters that definitely need them. I just don't see it. And I would love to be wrong. I truly would love to be wrong. When those patch notes, season 3 patch notes do arrive, I will be live streaming it and I will be reading it like word for word. And I more than likely I will be laughing my collective ass off. I may even be throwing in a few I told you so's. But to be fair, you guys, like I said earlier, you guys are free to flame me if the season 3 goes down in a very positive way. And again, the keyword of this video, significant changes, not slaps on the wrist, not little like, oh, this was changed from this frame to that frame. No, I want significant changes to the characters that we as the Tekken community, we know who the broken and busted characters are. We collectively know, and these characters need to be toned down. We know who they are. Okay. But I think I'll leave off here and let me know what you think. Hopefully, if this video related to you, maybe I have earned your subscription and or channel membership. But I'll be back in the future with more videos and content. Anyways, salute and take care. Peace.